All right, so where we left off, not that far back. Let's close that. All right, so this trade was taken, and here's the some of the gains that we had on this, or they had on this as well. 1300% on those 1350 calls, and I can already see the setup. I can already see exactly why they did why we did. I remember this trade. And it looks like this was purchased on the 28th, right around there. And this is just one. It looks like a couple of people bought them a couple of days before. Yep. Let's see here. So mostly 128. Okay. So again, right, and we're basically leaving off where we left out, or chart wise, we have a box right to the upside. Now I'm looking at it and it's starting to look okay. Maybe there was already a punch down, and that's okay. We can still use those boxes. Now I'm gonna move over here to the lower time frame and 2 hour. So unfortunate. I mean, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to. That's a punch down. So in reality, right, and again, we can still use these. A box was created, popped up above, which, you know, if you look at that, you're moving that volume down to the floor. But this is still able to be used on a 24-hour time frame, right? We still have points of contact. So this trade was taken again on the 28th. This is the 24th, so we'll let that play a little bit further. Perfect. Okay, so 27th, 28th. This person took that contract, bought it for 3 cents. And of course, the trade that we were looking to take, or they were looking to take, which was they took profit on the 30th. So you can see very clearly that we were looking for a box. And again, as we've been saying the whole time, or every single chart that we've gone over, empty space. Right? So there's your box, regardless, punchback or not. That is still something that you can, and I think that might have been why we entered off the top rather than the cost basis or somewhere earlier. So candle right there, that seemed like a good time to take it, and that did, in fact, it did have one red day, but it didn't lose anything, and we ended up filling up that empty space. So yet again, another 1000% trade. Looks like right around 500% for a few people, but like simple. And again, if you have any questions on these things, let me know. But all in all, multiple different areas could have been utilized as entries. Obviously, you can see the floor gets reclaimed, cost bases get built on. You leave a little bit of empty space behind, fill that back up. So at that point right there at 1232, again, there's only a small piece ahead of you, and again, that empty space is clear. All right, so that's it. Really simple, which is how our charting sessions should go when we're looking for trades that make sense. All right. First 1000%er. Okay, so yeah, it looks like actually people did hold for the, looks like that rest of that empty space up there. How do you know it's empty space? Because it looks like this. That's it's there's no structure here, right? If you were to get rid of all that and all that, you just see flat flushing candles. Higher time frame, empty space. There is nothing there. And I chose the word empty space because it's simple. And that's what I'm trying to encapsulate here is, you know, there's no need to, there's like multiple different names and people, you call empty space different things, but in reality, it's still limiting because it's point A to point B for me. So, all right, seems like there is also that same BABA trade. I kind of skipped over it. This was just runners, 3,200% around the same time frame. And so they ended up taking this 24-hour box top. And they also, oh, that's February 5th. When did you post that? That was posted on the 30th. Oh, so you got out of that one on the third, on that large candle push up. Your expiration didn't allow you to hold, but good job. So this is actually the same setup that we went. This is the same Baba play that we talked about in the first place, where we took it here, and that is in the recording. Box, drop to the low, punch back, aim for the top, and then this obviously sees continuation. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. I want to try to get through at least part of January. All right, NU, another 1000% trade. Baba, Schwab, XBY. Yeah, a lot of runners here on NU. 2,366% on EA on the 31st. Okay, and it looks like this was purchased. Okay, so it looks like this was a longer play. And it was done off of this box. And that was posted on the 31st as well. Okay, so that's pretty simple. This is actually, we'll go ahead and rewind this back. This is the play that they took. This is why they took it. There's an area of consolidation. There's 1, 2, 3 bounces off the top, 1, 2 off the bottom, and then 2 rejections off the top. You open up outside, right? After bouncing, I mean, honestly, in this session, you bounce 2 extra times, just kind of verifying that buyers are indeed there. Price closes up against the top. This individual clearly was trying to take it to the price open, which is a target that we don't see a whole lot of, mostly because we use the 24 hours. So don't mess with Jay. He has a nation's army and nothing can stop him. Yeah, right. All right, so EA is, you know, again, this isn't necessarily a punch back, but this is another play setup that we will take because, again, areas of consolidation just represent that breathe in before that breathe out, right? So the market is expansion or contraction, and then we get that expansion off the top. So that's why he took that play. That was again 23 or basically 2,400% trade to the upside on EA with shorter expiration contracts, which obviously I made 11K this week trading. Anything is possible. Amazing. Good shit. Glad you made that much money.
Chef.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's up?
Chef.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey. Is this a day trade setup? No. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
if you caught it on the open, sure. Yeah, I'm not going to say that it's not. If you caught this on the open with the gap up outside of that, you could. Be a little bit tougher because intraday trading on EA Sports is not something I like to do. So I made enough to want to take a break. That's how much I made today. All right, let's see here. All right, Google 300%, NVIDIA 84%. I'm going to take a look at this one because he made 727% CIFR. I don't know if I'm going to be, wait, oh shit, it's no longer publicly listed. No, it is. I'm tripping. And he posted this on the 31st. Okay. Hey, buddy. All right. So this is actually, and this is 30-minute, but let's go over here to the 2-hour. So not necessarily something that I would take, right? But let's go ahead and delete all of this. It is a good setup. I'm not going to argue that. And clearly what he did. So this is actually a perfect time to discuss with all of you guys preference. No, David, that's literally just how I look. That's just how I've always looked. But this is a matter of personal preference. Is this a bad setup? No. Is this something that I like look at and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to? No, not necessarily. I like more fluid, but it did what it was supposed to do. and the trade setup was pretty solid. Now we go to the 24-hour time frame, and it's just a third bounce on the floor that this individual took after how many times? So remember, we talked about this last night again. When you egg sellers on, so take a look at that candle close, candle wick, candle open. Sellers try, and every day they get weaker. You can see that. You suck more, and then you lose. So on a 24-hour time frame, that's a bounce off of a bottom of a box, which, you know what, admittedly, that's not something terrible that I would take. And I, you know, with TTD, it's not necessarily a bounce I would have, but it's heading down there now, right? And that's where I would like to take a bounce off of it. Now you move into the 4-hour time frame, and that box or turns into a box. So obviously with the candles wicking at 471, this individual was looking to try to take it up into that gap and through that empty space. Another great trade. Nah, David, it's good, man. It's good, dude. I don't take any offense to it. I'm married. Yeah, I got called when I was in middle school, dude. I used to get accused of smoking because my eyes. All right, JetBlue, which is another one. I haven't seen it, but we're probably gonna see something similar. Pretty cool. We can see at least always the same element, right? This was a 31st. This was 1,000% trade on JetBlue. Multiple individuals took this trade. Now on the 24-hour, the only thing I can really, oh, you know what? Go fuck yourself. That's crazy. So, excuse my language. There is a cost basis. I don't know if I want to give it that top or that bottom. Let me look at the 2-hour here. Okay, so I got it right. Okay, so on the 2-hour or lower time for this, so I can actually see why this individual decided to take this trade. This is actually pretty impressive. First of all, this range that you moved through, right? That very same top that you ended up rejecting ended up being cost basis later on. That's just showing you how volume moves around the chart. But point being here, you moved down to this cost basis / floor, right? Look how JetBlue responds to this level, responds to this level, responds to this level, right? JetBlue has, and this is actually doing, this is deeper analysis. This is going and putting in that extra mile of going and look at like, okay, well, what happens at this floor? I said this on Tesla. Like we talked about it to the upside and the downside. There's a particular level on Tesla that when it loses that floor, it falls. And you can go back and you can look at that. But the setup should concur, right? Meaning that I should see empty space again above me if I expect that type of price action. Now, that being said, immediately on the 2-hour, you build a box. Nice little range right there. Now it looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and assume this was, let's see, when did they buy this? I see JetBlue all the way up into the, so there's the 30th. Wow. So they actually bought this on the floor on the 29th. And it exploded off of that floor. So these individuals were just off of the empty space. I'm going to go ahead and zoom down here into the lower time frame. Beautiful bounce. I would assume that, again, this is top-down analysis. So before you're like, well, how would I have taken that, right? If there is always an answer on your chart, there's always the answers on your chart. It's like I'm giving you a test, but the answers are right in front of you. So what am I saying when I say that? If I want to figure out whether a stock is going to reverse, I use my system on a lower time frame. Boxes are meant to be defended by sellers. If they're not able to be defended and you close up against that 50% mark, you're going to move up. Now I see areas of range above me, and you easily and fluidly move through that. Now that empty space ends up getting retested as well before you take off, but especially if you take this off the floor, you see how much turbulence you don't have to trade through, you just have to hold through. And so with that being said, we look up at the top, right? Candle open, candle wick, wicks right here. And that is where price had to move above in order to move into that empty space. We see a short period of consolidation, right, on the 30th. So these individuals were holding through this. And again, what is up above you? And what did you touch? The first floor or green candles to your left. Excellent trade, 1000% trade to the upside. This was back in basically from January 29th to January 21st or 31st, which is literally perfect. Perfect. So, how far back do you go when making your consolidation? And the most recent price action, right? So I'm looking at the most recent price action for, so like for example, on JetBlue, if I was looking at it now, it would be this box. You know, if I was looking at it down all the way, like let's say I ended up taking it short below this floor of 560, right? That's where, you know, this box or this area of consolidation would essentially still be relevant, right? You're still bouncing off of it. So this box from 2023 is still relevant. Was that after an earnings? Yes, that was after earnings. Trading after a big earnings dump is you're still feeding off of the fact that you have volume retained. It's like, again, every time a stock comes up on the earnings playlist, it's all of a sudden becomes an interest. It's an advertising sign. So alrighty, so great trade. And again, the same elements that we found on every single other trade, we're finding on the ones that we're seeing here, which is just proof enough that that is all that's all I do. That's all we do. That's all we need to, I mean, you do what you want to do, but I'm going to continue doing this because it's the only reason that I'm here. Sticking to the system because the system works and, you know, very little deviation outside of it. See here, so some QQQ calls. That Bob of trade, whatever, I guess you guys took Bob after that, seems like. SPY put 800%. Dash. I think we did. Yeah, no, that wasn't it. Oh, wow. So they held, so this individual posted that. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at all those JetBlue gains. Holy shit. Look at all of those. That is, and it's in the recording or on TikTok if you can't. I don't do puts, right? No, I definitely do puts. I trade whatever the market tells me to do, man. If you guys are on TikTok, be sure to tap your screen. This is free. It's free sauce. Sauce is dripping. All right. Let's see here. Baba. What do we got here? That is IWM. Lows 405%, 200%. Right, so that's not that great. 1200% on IWM. And we were ripping IWM a fucking new one at the beginning of January. That's right. 1000% on PLTR the beginning of the month. Going into February. Okay, so why did they take that trade? Why did they take that trade, folks? Can anybody tell me? What was that? 2 words. Actually, 1 word. I put them together. Punchback. That's it. Right? That's it. Bam. 1, 2. This is probably, you know, again, probably 2 bounces. Pop up, reclaim the floor. You left a small area of consolidation around cost basis, so that kind of gave you a little bit of turbulence. But it looks like these individuals were looking to take it off of the top, and that is where, again, oh, beautiful. So 4-hour candle right there. So they took profit on this, or we're taking profit on the 4th. So let's let price move up into the 4th. Oh my God. Oh, that was earnings. That was earnings. So that was a earnings setup going into all-time highs. I remember this specifically, going into all-time highs. And that is a great question, or a great setup going into earnings, even if it is all-time highs. Go ahead, Gunter. Would you recommend buying contracts that expire after like 3 weeks? Because I'm struggling with that. I think the chart should tell you what expiration. How? Also only able to hear the lo-fi. Oh, that's, here we go again. So how can I tell if it's going to punch back or continue down? Are you saying like, oh, to the downside? Oh, great question, Gunter. Watch this. Because I have a signal underneath me. And here's the thing, guys. If I was just making all this shit up, that shit right there would never happen. This wouldn't just continuously happen, chart after chart after chart. 50% of the consolidation, that's where you bounce, and that is where your signal is to the upside. And so cost base is holding you up, but what else, right? This is the extra part. That's where sellers are supposed to do their job. Does it look like they did their job? They didn't. They had one red candle they tried to reject it off of, couldn't even follow through and break the floor. You pop up off the top, and then extra verification, obviously, when that floor is reclaimed. How would you choose a call strike in an all-time highs? Well, that's actually a good. So yeah, sorry. I've been holding equity of PLTR for quite some time, and so going into this earnings date, it was just a hedge opportunity, as well as I'm gonna take so to answer that question, I'm going to typically not. I don't trade into all-time highs. In a scenario where I see a punchback that hasn't fired off, I'm going to aim for the first psychological target, 90 or 95. Right? Punching over 82, I'm aiming for 90 or 95. The only other alternative that I can give, right, is Fibonacci, right? But I have always said this. I'm not ashamed of it, because look at what I'm able to do in stocks that aren't at all-time highs. But I don't trade all-time highs for a good reason, right? Because I can't do what I do on a regular basis within structure. I need it. I need a stock that's fallen, or a stock that still has something up above it, and that's okay, because clearly I'm making enough money to continue doing that, right? So how would you choose a call strike into, oh yeah, sorry, thoughts on points of control? What do you mean thoughts on it? Points of control are just another word for support and resistance. That's it. All right. Cool. So not a bad earnings setup. Again, if anybody had brought that to me today, I would be totally okay with that. I'd be like, yeah, well, it is all-time highs. It's not necessarily my thing, but this is a punchback going into earnings with a little stall. All right, let's see, what else do we got here? All right, so we're at the 6th of January, guys. We're moving forward here. I've skipped over quite a few. I mean, I'm looking at 100% trades here, 400% trade. Let's see what. That's FedEx. That's a 536% trade. And that's just a bounce trade off of. Wait for it. No shit. Candle closes are at 237.88. You do have wicks off of the bottom. Ah, I'm wrong. It's either here or it's there. I think it's there. So it looks like they took a bounce, and I would assume on the 4-hour. It's pretty perfect. So you don't even make it to cost basis before that volume moves in. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this individual took it off the top. So let's go ahead and talk about that, because that's something that we haven't talked about as well, right? If I move down 2 or into the cost basis of a box underneath me. How do I take that long? And the question is, who's in control when you dropped into that box? Sellers, where are they at? At the top. So what do I need to, what can I assume? That I need a candle? Look, do you see how it pulls itself back up at the end of the day? Look at the 24-hour. That's what matters, right? That's what matters. Seller, think about, put yourself in a seller's boat. Big red candle down. I'm trying to go short. Next day, little green, not enough to necessarily call it. But then here, the fight commences. Sellers try, they fail, you bring it back up, you secure that buy level, and price moves up fluidly into that red bar. Now, I don't know, it doesn't seem like this person held that any longer, but it does continue. Yeah, look at that. So even though this wasn't the play that he took, look. The system repeats itself. The system will repeat itself. You need to get good. And I don't know how many of you have printed out these setups and put them on your wall. You know, these setups that you, and again, the video has just been posted. I tagged everybody, and then the pictures of the plays are also in there, and they all have, so go look through those, you know, again, and then watch that video back. And it's going to be the same thing. Rinse and repeat. Empty space. This is a rare case of you don't really consolidate at all. But coming off of an earnings or a news event that causes you to dump like that, if you run into a major floor like TTD, I want to bounce for this same reason. I want to bounce it. Let's look at it, right? Well, actually, we'll wait on that one. This is not going on YouTube. In fact, let's see here. Yeah, you guys have got about 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna let you guys go. You guys are welcome to join, because this is gonna be going on next week, probably the week after that. And you'll get, but it's $100. You just gotta go into the free Discord, which I posted it on Thursday's YouTube video. Alex, do you want to go post the Discord link for the free Discord in the YouTube video I posted tonight, please? If you can do that for me. Go look at the last YouTube video I just posted. And if you want to go into the free Discord, you can find out how to join. So, all right. Good shit, guys. Good shit. Yeah, I'm taking questions on here.
Chef, should I screenshot that 24-hour chart?
Yeah, let me, you know what? Let me do this first, though. Again, they took it all the way there, but the play was technically up there. So yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure that this box or that structure in there is included. So yeah, just leave that. Yeah, I'd say this is a more advanced setup because it doesn't give you a box. Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. Trading something more volatile that doesn't even take the time to build a box takes away from what we do, right? So now you have to rely on what's being reclaimed. And that's a little bit higher of a level, right? Taking a bounce off a cost basis for a reversal is a lot harder than taking a punchback or a candle close up against a wall. So,
Chef, can you show me the Baba 24-hour setup earlier? I didn't take a screenshot for that. Yeah, just that one.
I didn't like that one was continued. That was the same
like
play.
it.
Yeah, that was the same play that we screenshotted earlier. They just held runners. That's it.
All right, thank you, Chef.
Can you repeat what you said about a punchback? It melted my brain. Which part? Yeah, let me know which part. Which one's easy? Oh, so I was just using FedEx's bounce, right, where it bounces and it doesn't build a box. It doesn't build anything. All it does is escape the grasp of sellers over here to your left. So this is a lot easier, or a lot harder, because you got to make a decision without the box, and that's something that, well, you're still making a decision with the box, but it's an old one, right? So it's a candle close outside of their clutches, or outside of that control, and that offers you the opportunity to move up into that empty space. And yeah, that is a lot more difficult than what we normally do, which is take punch candle closes, you know, like if you were taking this one short, you know, candle close below or at the floor, could offer, you know, obviously that punch down or that move down. But yeah, real quick, I'll, you know, again, just to kind of show you guys this is the same reason that I'm going to make a bag on TTD. And if I can grab this one on the floor, then I'll be a happy camper, because that's going to be a great stop loss. Otherwise, it's going to fucking dump a lot, all the way to $40, and maybe even $32.30, because we've already bounced several times. And if this is a, you know, huge lay down, and there's no chance for recovery, then you'll come back probably years from now and fill that back up later. So is my website down? It is, yes. If you're looking to sign up, you got to get into the free Discord on one of my YouTube videos. It's temporarily shut down. I fucked up. All right, let's see here. All right, so let's go and look for the next one. It's like QQQ trade. Damn, they made a shit ton of money for Uber. Okay, that's not bad, 240%, but we'll leave it alone. I guess this is the February 10th ASTS. No, I'm not going over that one. I know why they took that one, but like, that's why they took this, which I totally understand, and it does go and it hits the next target, but there's only a box and only resistance, which, you know, again, if you decide you want to take something like this, you know, that's all you, but personal preference, you know, this isn't my favorite cup of tea. Why do you disappear? What do you mean disappear? I stream every day, brother. You're not following me. Or yeah, I don't think you're following me, so that might be why. All right, so that's okay. You know, again, I don't have to. This is not going to be posted on YouTube. This is going to be posted in the Discord, in the main Discord. This is ridiculous sauce here. XOM. That wasn't a big trade. What do you got on this one? That's Coca-Cola. February 14th calls. Is that right? Oh, wee. Wow. Why did they take that? Why'd they take that? You guys, yeah. That's one of those ones, man. You go to the weekly time frame. How much clear does it need to be? This is perfect. Perfect. 2 bounces off the top, 1 here. That's your second. When you hit it, you do fall, but when you fall, you pull back up. And what are you supposed to do when sellers, or you hit resistance? Darth said, Darth, get out of here. That's fucking hilarious. Now I'm pausing it. Now I'm self-conscious. No more music. So this is box to box, baby. This is oh my god. If your cheeks aren't clenched right now, I don't know what's gonna make them. This is it. Just as an educator, dude, it makes my toes fucking curl. This is a weekly setup. Beautiful empty space to the upside. Help Darth if you can. On the 24-hour, you had multiple entries. Now, this was also earnings. So, regardless, because again, if you're new here, if you guys are watching on TikTok, then this is going to be the last chart that we go over. If you're new or haven't seen me, I do not care if it's earnings. If it's a clear setup, I'm going to take it. If something technical is happening, then that catalyst is just serving as the volume, right, for that. So, with that being said, yeah, I do, but it doesn't change anything for me. Fucking A, I fucked up the bar replay. So anyway, going back to where I was. The setup here is a weekly, right? And this was looks like a 870% trade. These were purchased. Wow. Okay, so yeah, this individual was we're gonna walk through this setup. So first of all, Coca-Cola basically maintaining this odd little range right here, but going into earnings, which this is something that we can look at with Coca-Cola because earnings is a major catalyst. It will send it running or it will send it falling. Right. And then the in between is a lot of consolidation. So focusing on the most recent price action here, this person just probably found that box. Looking at the 4-hour, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the only thing that's in between you and leaving that area would be 65, which is psychological. And again, hold on. So I want to show you guys something. That's not clear, is it? But what has more precedence? The weekly or the 4-hour? The weekly. The weekly is empty. Do you see how you move through it? So great trade, great setup, good box, probably easy to hedge. But the fact that you basically, I mean, not basically, but you did punch back going into earnings. I don't know, that's a no-brainer. Now, Coca-Cola has like the craziest consolidation it's had in a long time. So, all right. So that one's pretty clear. I think if anybody have any questions on any of this, what date is this? Wait, what are you talking about? This was February 10th time frame. All right, so that's a pretty good trade. Coca-Cola. White Light made 20 grand from INTC calls end of day the day before, so on the 10th somehow. Oh shit, we're back in September. What the fuck? How did he make that? That's February. I knew it. I literally knew it. So that is actually crazy because I literally went just with my eyes naturally over here. Everything else, this is too short. So already I can tell you why this individual was able to make so much. I do not know from end of day yesterday. Okay, so that he swung that into the next day. So from this green candle close, and this is going to be pretty interesting because it is a failed punch down. But we got to talk about that. Okay? Because we don't get an opportunity to talk about the failures of punchbacks as much as we ought to, which doesn't happen a lot. But this is why we do top-down analysis. What's more important, the 24-hour or the weekly? Now we can use that, and sometimes we might, there is going to be stocks that, and this is one of them, INTC, Shopify, a lot of the medical stocks like Lilly, Eli Lilly trades like this, where it consolidates so heavily on the monthly and the weekly that it starts the control offered by those higher time frames makes the lower time frame irrelevant. right? It just becomes that range. So when that range breaks, sure. But ultimately, this was a failed punch down. It is. It is. But let's also look at another element here. Earnings. Earnings comes in and doesn't react. You do not get your punch down. You do not break your weekly floor. So I would go ahead and look at this because this is actually regardless, right, of that failed punch down, which I wouldn't have shorted anyway. But regardless of that failed punch down, I can already see the elements that brought him to this trade. Step one, box, bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in a row. Range above. Resistance, only one, right? That's 50% previous area of empty space. So that individual was clearly, and it looks like he posted that on the 11th. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So, and then runners into that one as well. So that's where, yeah, this person was looking for a move outside of the box on the 11th. You got a solid 24-hour candle push outside of it through the 50% mark of this range, allowing price to move up. Now, let's also talk about another, because this isn't something that we're going to be doing ever, really, because punchbacks are, for me, one or two invalidated punchbacks, or even if it was 10 a year, would still be not enough for me to throw everything that I've learned out the window, right? Again, higher time frame has a higher priority strength, so it's going to fight, right? Now we use the fractal system within it, but INTC is in a different class. But with that being said, imagine that distribution volume fails. How does price react to that? Big pop up, drive price down, try to punch back. Even through that, you struggled. Going into earnings, you do not have the earnings to support that leg down, and you explode. Explode off of that fail. That it's almost like one cog blows up the other ones. That's how I imagine this, right? Is you tried to go short and you failed, and then all that volume coming in from earnings explodes, empty space. There is a median target in between it, but that was it. That is a good trade. It is a good setup right there. 11th, he took that trade, and then left runners up into the top. So, all right, TikTok. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys were able to pull something. Again, what you guys just watched me do is literally how the last meeting went. Every setup, same thing. Every setup, easy to see, clear to explain, right? The big ones, the ones that offer the big moves, those are it. So we're going to continue class, though. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are more than welcome to join if you're inside of the free Discord. Just message Ivy or Alex. They'll help you out. The Discord link is in the last YouTube video that I posted tonight. You can go to Potter Stocks Trading on YouTube and look at my latest video in the description, and it will be there. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. See you tomorrow. Or Sunday. Sorry. All right. Continue recording here. All right. So INTC is knocked out here. Pretty good setup there. Any questions? I haven't got any questions. Sorry. If you click select bar in the bottom again, you don't need to exit out of the replay. Yeah, I know. I do that. I'm retarded, dude. No, my doctor said I could say that, but yeah, I forget. And then I remind myself, I'm like, almost like I rediscovered it. All right, so let's keep moving through the games page, folks. Looks like we got this guy's name is. That was No Ego. That's right. Dork. AMD 313% on Bros. I have enough information to go off of on that one. Looks like we have Hood around this same time. What did he take? He took Hood, Halls. And this is the 13th. Okay, so 2 days from here. Oh, okay. So I can't really say anything about that, and I don't have anything technical to offer besides you were already at the highs. So we'll skip that one. All right, here. Tesla. Starting to see Tesla all of a sudden pop up. Tesla. Okay. Ah, yes, I remember. I remember. Okay, so this is going to be a weird one. Real weird. But it's still clear. So let's talk about this one really quickly. So Tesla had a big, I remember this like it was yesterday, had a big leg down through this box, right? That it punched through itself. So here's your box, slow motion punch down. Took a minute or two to actually. Why is there a box that says live animals on my porch? There's a UPS driver dropping a box that says live animal, I swear. Okay, I'm gonna pause the recording. I gotta go get this. What the fuck is that?